It's time for Football Friday, sponsored by Independent Insurance Agents of South Dakota, South Dakota State University, South Dakota Department of Health, and Dakota Bank.
And those Brookings cheerleaders have had a lot to cheer about. Brady Clark's done a great job getting that program turned back around. We are officially past the halfway point in the season, but the weather is still awesome as we had another fantastic night for another Football Friday. I'm Mark Ovington.
I'm Zach Borg. We'll have highlights from throughout the region tonight and also check in on the Girls State AA Tennis Tournament, which was wrapped up in Rapid City.
And we start our coverage with this guy, Cooper Seamer, who has the highlights from the top team in 11 AAA, Harrisburg.
Yeah, Mark and Zach, we're talking about the Harrisburg Tigers, who have gone through the season unscathed so far, and now the schedule's getting interesting for the top teams in 11 AAA. Tonight, the Tigers hosting fourth-ranked Jefferson. Tigers getting the ball first, and they're going to make the most out of it. Sam Knuth finds Case and Severson, no one around him, and that's 40 yards to the house, and Tigers lead at 7-0. Then the defenses are going to clamp down here. Knuth with the ball again, has to run, but a nice open field tackle here by Cooper Nielsen, and that's going to force the punt to give Jefferson the ball back here. But the next drive, this is a candidate for hit of the year, Justin Cabrera.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, and that stops the wide out in his tracks. Harrisburg, they keep an arm's length over Jefferson. They win this one 21-14. Mark.
All right, Coop, thanks very much. Rapid City Central came to Howard Wood, fresh off that shutout of Washington. And Lincoln says, all right, you guys, let's start fast. Well, they did. Brody Schaefer hitting number 81. That's Luis Anacasi.
Nice.
And it's a 14-0 lead now in favor of Lincoln. Rapid City Central's punter had his heels just inside the back line and didn't have enough room to operate. It's a block punt, and Karsten Benson recovers for the touchdown. And then it's Schaefer again to Lucas Hunter. He kind of looks like Travis Kelce here because nobody can tackle him. He gets into the end zone. That makes it, it was actually 29-0 after the first quarter, and Lincoln goes on to win handily. The final is 46-7.
I approve of that reference. In the second game at the Wood, it was number 5 O'Gorman against the Warriors of Washington, who just lost that game to Central. Nice lids for the Knights, by the way. Knights pick off Washington, which leads to this scoring drive. Gavin Hamrick hammers the ball into the end zone. O'Gorman out to a 14-zip lead. Warriors hung right with them, though, after that shutout last week. They get on the board late in the second quarter on the Braden Jackson touchdown run. Coach popping his Knights, though, drive right down the field on a 2-minute drill. Pigskin preview cover kid Sullivan Schlemgen lines up his quarterback, bulldozes into the end zone. It was 21-7.5, but this thing was a barn burner that comes down to the wire. O'Gorman wins by a hair, 35-33. Let's check out some more scores in 11 AAA. Again, there's your Harrisburg scores. They win a good one over Jefferson. Lincoln all over Central. Brandon Valley shuts out Mitchell on the road, 47-0. And again, O'Gorman by 2. Our game of the night was in Brookings, where the top-ranked Bobcats hosted number 3 Yankton. First time in about 10 years Brookings has been number 1, but the visitors set the tone with an 11-play opening drive that's capped off by Easton Feaser's twisting and turning 19-yard touchdown run, 7-0 Yankton after 1. Brookings alum and former Jackrabbit Mikey Daniel back in his old stomping grounds. He played for those Bobcats, and in that title game against Yankton, still probably the best high school game I've ever seen. This one was not that game, though. After a Bobcat fumble, Matthew Sheldon bulls in for a 5-yard score, 14-0, and the Buck defense just shut the Bobcats down all day. Gavin Anderson going deep. Carson Ness diving in front and dragging the Toads for the pick. Bucks go on to win 24-7. We'll have another new number 1 in 11 AA next week. Let's take a look at more scores around 11 AA. There's your Yankton score again. Watertown shuts out T at home, bouncing back from their loss last week. And Spearfish likely will be that new number 1 after they get a 58-0 win over Douglas.
Who would have thought that? They've been impressive.
Sure
Up
have.
next, the rest of the 11-man highlights, including the number 1 Sioux Falls Christian Chargers, who look really good tonight.
You're watching Football Friday, sponsored by Independent Insurance Agents of South Dakota, South Dakota State University, South Dakota Department of Health, and Dakota Bank.
And welcome back to Football Friday. Watching my grandsons play for Sioux Falls Lutheran kind of reminds me of those early days for Sioux Falls Christian. And look at the Chargers now. Wow. Ranked number 1 in Class 11A. And tonight they hosted Jeff Van Leur's Seahawks of Bridgewater, Emery-Ethan. Opening kickoff, so it kind of set the tone for the game. Don't kick it to Cole Snyder because this is what he'll do to you. Number 3 cuts back to the middle and he is gone. Takes it the length of the field. Decided he didn't want to be tackled and he wasn't. It's 6-0. They can score on defense too. Darcy Wasser's kid. This is Brandt after a Braden Whitty touchdown, picking it off and takes it back for the number on his jersey. A pick 6. And then right before the end of the quarter, Lincoln Prinz to guess who? Snyder, 27-0 after a quarter. 49-8 was your final score in favor of the Chargers.
Used to be a trip to Madison was not quite as much fun, but the Bulldogs are playing in the beautiful new stadium now, the Brian Kern Family Stadium. I'm guessing Boston Catster was excited to be playing on turf and sure looked it with that throw to Leighton Smith for a 15-yard score. 22-14 Lennox. Third quarter, it's now 4th down. Lennox's Boston Catster, though, that's no trouble for him. He finds Ramsey Williams for the touchdown, 28-14. However, this thing was far from over because on the kickoff, Madison's Shane Vienoff fields it on a hop, makes some moves, finds a seam, and he is gone. 90-yard kickoff return touchdown, makes it 28-21. That would end up being the final. Well, actually, there would be a few more scores. Lennox wins a high-scoring battle, 36-28. Madison giving the number 2 team a pretty good run.
Two teams going in different directions met on the turf in Dell Rapids, where the number 3 Couriers hosted Canton, the preseason number 1 team in 11A. Second quarter, Dell Rapids on 4th down and 3. It's a 40 on the 47-yard line. It's Cooper Frost to Drake Eastman. They get a touchdown out of it. Now, this might be the play of the night. Watch this kickoff return in the second quarter. Ryan Stubbe takes the ball. Looks like he's tackled, but no! He throws the ball back to Cole Rusink, and Rusink is gone for a touchdown. That's the play of the night.
Yeah.
There's no question that's the play of the night.
Getting a lot of good kick returns now.
That made it 28-10 going into halftime, third quarter. It's going to be Quinn Carr breaking through the middle. Nobody's going to stop him. Off to the races. 65 yards later, and 62 points in this game tonight for Dell Rapids. They win by 40. Onto the scoreboard. Again, Sioux Falls Christian, Lennox, and West Central gets the win barely over Dakota Valley.
On to 11B, and the Elk Point-Jefferson Huskies hosting Flandreau on a nice evening down south. And we begin halfway through the second. Gunnar Ewing takes the ball and talk about following your blockers, disappears, and finds his way for a score to make it 14-0. Flandreau looking for some momentum. They let it fly downfield. Great coverage by Keaton Gale. He breaks that pass up, otherwise might have been a score. And some Flandreau points. Instead, they have to punt, and on the ensuing possession, another tough running Lou Schmitz will get it into the end zone. And Elk Point-Jefferson wins a tough one. That was the difference in the game, actually. 21-14, good rally by Flandreau. They come up 7 short.
The number 2 Cossacks of Sioux Valley were in Beresford to play the Watchdogs. The Cossacks were up early, but Beresford is going to get on the board. Watch this. Ashton Oberle hitting Cooper Nelson from 12 yards out, and we are all tied up at 7-7. But Sioux Valley, just too much of a running game. Our cover kid, Donovan Rose, he's going to rope this one. Of course, he's a calf roper, too. He takes it all the way for a touchdown. Nobody can tackle him. And Sioux Valley would go on to win handily. Your final score, 42-7. Some more scores in 11B. Winner wins by forfeit. There's your Sioux Valley and EPJ scores. Woonsocket, Wessington Springs, Sanborn Central, and MVP both victorious tonight. Can Parkston remain undefeated? We'll have to wait till we come back to find out.
Welcome back. We got a busy night of 9-man highlights, starting with 9AA.
That's where the top-ranked Trojans of Parkston hosted a very talented team from Wolsey-Wessington, ranked 4th in 9A. First possession, who else but our pigskin preview athlete, Coulter Kramer. Coulter busts one loose. Number 7's taking it all the way for the touchdown from 53 yards out, and the Trojans take the early lead. Start of the second quarter, handoff to Carter Summer, and he's going to punch it in.
Nice little skip.
Parkston goes up 14 points in this game. Wolsey-Wessington trying to get something going in the red zone. Caleb Richmond's had a great year. Nowhere to go, though. Sacked by Wyatt Anderson, and the Warbirds come close in the second half, but your final 31-22. Parkston remains undefeated.
On to Howard. Oh, you're actually 9AA boards.
Elkton Lake Benton also won big tonight. Viborg Hurley wins over Hanson, and TDA ACDC is a victor as well. Hamlin had a bye.
Now on to Howard, where the top team in 9A has been rolling through the schedule. Tonight, they took on Garretson, and they got off to a great start. First quarter, Howard quarterback Carson Hanker to Luke Kepsel. They can toss the ball around. Nice catch there to make it 7-0 on the 20-yard touchdown toss. Later in the first, Colt Becker gets the ball and will take it in from 9 yards. It was all Tigers in this one as they rolled to the victory. Final score, 54-8. Let's take a look at some more scores in 9A. Wall with a shutout victory. Warner big over North Central. And Harding County Bison big over Faith.
More 9-man highlights in Alcester, where we sent Cordell tonight. Cordell, what'd you come back with for highlights?
Well, the Cubs were looking for a big win over the number 2 team in 9B. The Cardinals brought a 6-0 record in to face the Cubs, and it was 6-0 early, so they opened up the trick playbook. Screen pass, Ethan Bolville, double pass to Ethan Brown. That sets them up to take a 12-0 lead. Second quarter, though, it's a Hansen connection. Tremere, it's going to find Keaton, no relation. He's able to high-step that last defender. That's going to make the score 8-12. Now, though, right before half, they get the stop. It's going to be Beauville taking a punt for the Cubs, patiently finds a hole, turns on the burners. That's going to make it 28-8 at the half. Alcester-Hudson holds off a second-half Canary surge, though, and wins 28-22.
Also in Class 9B, the number 5 Canistota Hawks were at Chester in the first quarter. It's Lake Wold faking the handoff and throws it to Will Seeley in the end zone. Flyer touchdown, 6-0 in favor of the home team. Lake Wold again, still in the first. This time keeps it himself. It's 13-0. They're smelling an upset here. Second quarter, Chester driving yet again. Looks like they're going to score again. This would be a big play. Caleb Hermstead with the interception gives the Hawks the ball, and they would go on to score the final 16 points of the game and pull out a narrow victory. Onto the 9B scores. Avon, Alcester-Hudson over Dale Rapids St. Mary. Falkton wins big. Sully Buttes does as well, and there's your Canistota score. Highlights from Minnesota and also the girls state AA tennis tournament are next. Stay with us.
Welcome back, and to wrap up our show, we head to the Hills next. That would be Hills, Minnesota, where the unbeaten Patriots of Hills-Beaver Creek in their homecoming game tried to remain that way with a win over Mountain Lake. Most of our Minnesota high school football was, of course, last night. However, in the second quarter, the quarterback, Jake Evers, pitches the ball out to Evan Karshnick for the touchdown. And then on the 2-point conversion try, Karshnick bounces from outside the Wildcat position here and gets in, and the visitors, the Wolverines, out to an 8-0 lead, trying to spoil that homecoming. However, the Patriots were quick to respond. Jamin Metzger takes the play on the option to the right side and gets the Hills-Beaver Creek touchdown. They get a couple more, and they go on to win this game. Final score, 20-8. Pretty good one. More scores from Minnesota. Hills-Beaver Creek winner there. Red Rock Central Falls. Marshall, a shutout over St. Peter. Edgerton, also with a shutout victory. Pipestone by 12. And Fairmont defeats Worthington. Let's run through the Iowa scores real quick. West Lyon, 50-0. Central Lyon, George Little Rock, they'll play next Friday in that grudge match. Lamar's, Spencer, MOC Floyd Valley, and Sioux City Heelan all win. And one more page full of scores. There you are as you quick take a look at all of those. All right, let's roll a video from the girls state AA tennis tournament. It wrapped up in Rapid City today. Everybody kind of bundled up, a little chilly out there today. And the Flight 2 singles championship match, Stephen Sylvie Mortimer taking on Watertown's Leela Messiter. And Messiter hits a nice shot here. Mortimer can't return it in the court, and it's a point for Messiter, who hits a nice lob right here, but it ends up coming right back at her with the overhand smash. And Rapid City Stevens is, thanks to shots like that, going to go on and win this one. Let's go to your scoreboard. The team scores: Stevens victory, 5-0-9 on their home court. Lincoln was second, followed by Yankton, Watertown, Mitchell, O'Gorman, and Aberdeen. Augie Hockey won tonight 4-zip, and Dort in college football beat Mount Marty 35-17. It's homecoming for USD in state tomorrow. Big day for you.